All right, let's see. Do I hear anything?
No, you don't hear nothing.
Wait a minute. I just did. Oh, Martin, remember? What's the message?
The message is the brain is the second thing to go. 50% of men over 45 have ED.
Jimmy J.
That's right. So
Jimbo.
Come on, check your age. Check your age, Norman. See,
New poster boy.
be like me, act like a spaded cat. Go out the front porch. I go outside and forget why I went there. I just stand around on the front porch. You know, why did I go out here?
It's a cat noise.
Meow. Meow. What's wrong with me? Where am I?
Oh, God. That's wrong.
Oh, no.
I'm telling you guys.
That's funny.
Okay, you know, we got two main topics today because there are two areas that kind of piss me off. And normally with the Conspiracy Wednesday, we deal with everything because it's conspiracy. Even though we tend to deal with things that are actually fact. Some of my leftist friends think we play with it too much. But the idea, we think, is to entertain folks and to get them to really question, because a lot of the people, and I tell this to a lot of my leftist friends, a lot of the people are not aware of this. And so when they hear these things, they first often feel stupid. And that often makes them align themselves up against you. So we have to find a way to educate people and inform people without making them feel stupid, without insulting them. Because remember, a lot of the things that we talk about actually end up being somewhat attacks on things that they call somewhat sacred. I remind you that reason why we do this is because we actually care about you. We're not doing this for us. We care about the world, okay? And this is where this whole issue of conservatism, I tell people, conservatives have no legacy in the world. The world has changed. America and the world is a better place because of the people who refuse to go with the status quo. If you were a conservative, you would have been for slavery, for no women's rights. Children would still be working in factories. That's all the stuff that was done by leftists, by radicals. That's why you have holidays off. That's why you have vacation. That's why you have health care coverage. All those things were not done by conservatives. Those were done by radical people, leftist people, people who insisted on change. And there always have been those people. Even when everybody owned slaves, there were people who said it ain't right. Even when everybody was abusing women, they were the people who said this ain't right.
Yeah.
Okay, so no matter what pop culture is, there are always those folks who are willing to say this ain't right. And that's what we try to do here at Pac Stereo, is to be those people, whether or not it's popular. That's why I criticize the president. Like I said, I love the idea of a black, and I love the idea of the message it sounds, because Vince, see, in my day, there are a lot, we didn't have that, so for a lot of folks, just to have the image of that, to see it, that's what it is. I admit it is important. That's why you also need a woman president, Latino president, Asian, lesbian, gay president. Everything you got to see that, because the images and what it says about our society is there. Okay, so, but on the other hand, when I look at the numbers, I'm a number guy, a data man. I look at what you do. There's always what you say, and you can say it wonderfully.
I love it. He says
a
feeling in
moves
the voice.
You right. Right.
Watch out.
Right.
It's coming.
That's how I would get laid. See, I did the same thing.
Conspiracy Wednesday.
We can talk Mac too. We a lot of us can talk the talk. That's how we got laid.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That is amazing.
But then again, what did you do?
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I hit the Barry White voice.
Yeah.
I'm a bass player. I got a size 14 shoe.
That's right. That's impressive. But you too will turn 45.
Oh, shit.
This is, okay. You see what's happening, guys.
Well, okay, I brought this up because one of the things that pissed me, one of the things that I heralded as a techie was the invention of the video camera. And when video cameras got to be so small and so inexpensive that everybody could have one, they literally changed the world.
Yes, it did.
Because you could see everything, right? And record everything. Everybody was events. So all of a sudden now, you can make up, the police said that the man was resisting arrest. Well, here's the video. Doesn't look like he's resisting too much. He looks like he's absorbing the blows.
Yes.
Very well. He's absorbing.
Yeah,
he's taking it.
Gee, he must have said something really nasty to that officer.
To get that ass whipping. Well, that's what we're saying. So this whole issue was a great thing to me. The advent of the citizen journalism people out there videotaping. Now, as it turns out, of late, you've had police actually arresting folks, okay, for videotaping events. We've had stories we cover where people were on their front yards watching something in the street and were told to put away cameras, and when they didn't, the police came and harassed them. And it's an ongoing assault. It's actually triggering notices and protests all over the world.
Yeah, this one I think is going to be blockbuster.
Well, I'm telling you.
Because you're into your Second Amendment right.
Well.
And as well as your first. Because the freedom to do as you choose, this is in question. Because as we go further in the program, you said something earlier that it's extremely alarming that they don't have to have probable cause to detain you.
Well,
that's a scary thing.
Well, that's the thing.
Another subject.
And that's coming up too. That's as it relates to terrorism. That's right.
So
there's an assault on your rights here.
Yeah, but here's what's happening. You're getting reform as we speak because the media is no longer in control of the news. Somebody with a camera that has no sense of responsibility other than I'm going to create this video.
That's right.
And now all of a sudden it's like the camera don't have a brain, but it does do the same thing every time.
That's
it records what it sees.
And impartial.
And impartial otherwise, it's what you think you're seeing.
That's right.
Okay, so the media and their control is slipping. The
That's
reform
right.
is going.
And Vince, actually, Vic and I talked about that. A bunch of studies are showing that the public actually has adjusted their consciousness. Remember, they want that video now.
That's irritating because it's socialist and it's not the freedom. Your freedoms are being violated.
That's right.
You're being told that it's bad because you're not hearing news from the media.
That's right.
I got a 4-letter word for the media.
Well,
come on down.
Come on
Put
down.
the whoop ass on you. Because it's like the reality is people will tell their own truth. And
That's right.
The truth, it's like the cream. It comes to the top.
And that's what's happening. More and more folks are wanting those kind of videos than the ones they see on the networks,
right?
Because they feel it's more real, more true.
No, you're going to tell me that the weather guy in L.A. any channel is real? They shouldn't even have a weatherman on the television out here.
Well, take
That's
a look.
just worthless. And he's a fortune teller. When did he turn into Wake Martindale?
Well, now they got hip on that.
That's the biggest waste of airtime ever. If that's not a celebrity position, who's Johnny Mountain? I mean, what the hell is
Johnny
this?
Mountain. That's a good one.
He's over 55. He needs that ED help from Jimmy Johnson.
That's a good one.
It's $10 a pill. All right, take a look. You can go online and get it for considerably cheaper. Take a look at this video, though, you guys, and see what you think. $300,000 views. This is a lady on her own porch. She was arrested for shooting this.
Yes. I just got out of the house, man. I'm sick, man. I've been shaking last night, man. Just got over my sickness, man.
Familiar scene.
Yeah, we've seen this on Cops plenty of times.
This is my front yard. I'm just recording what you're doing. It's my right.
Actually, not from the sidewalk.
This is my yard.
Uh-oh, here come the
I don't feel
PD.
safe with you standing behind me, so I'm going to ask you to go in your house.
Oh, that's his excuse. I don't feel safe.
I don't feel safe with you standing behind me. And you seem to be very anti-police, so I don't feel safe with you standing behind me.
This is serve and protect, folks.
I'm going to stand in my yard if that's okay.
Due to what you said to me before you started taping, I think you need to stay in your house, guys.
What did I say to you that offended you?
Standing behind us officers when we're doing a traffic stop.
I'm allowed to stand in my yard.
Go stand in your house.
I'm allowed to stand in my yard. I'm going to stay in my...
I'm going to ask you one more time. We don't feel safe with you standing right behind us when we're doing a traffic stop. I'm going to ask you to go into the house.
What?
No?
It's my right to be in my yard, and I'm sorry that you don't feel safe. All I have is a camera. I'm clearly wearing nothing. I have no
And
weapons.
she clearly doesn't sound black.
You're not enforcing our orders right now. We don't feel safe with you standing behind us. You're not moving even a foot further back. You're going to be.
Do you want me to move a foot further back?
You're going to be under arrest. I already warned you.
I will move a foot further back. I'm not going to go inside my house. I feel like I need the fresh air right now.
Well, I'm going to arrest someone for not following police orders when we're asking her to
I'm
step
asking
back.
you what
That
the
seems
order.
Very simple.
I don't understand your
I asked
order.
you to not stand behind us, okay?
You didn't ask me to not stand behind
Yes?
you.
Okay, listen, I'm not going to explain myself to you. What you're going to do is you're going to end up going to jail. I'm trying to give you a warning.
See, I'm a black man. They would have kicked my ass by now. Motherfucker! Oh, resisting arrest.
I'm going to back up.
You know what?
What's funny is this cop, the longer it goes on, it's got to feel like he's out of order himself. I mean, this is insane. That he thinks his leverage goes to the degree at which he's going to.
And they're arresting me. I don't understand what's going on. I did nothing. I did nothing. I'm not doing anything.
That's why we called them pigs in my day.
She's not allowed to be a video witness. Wow, that's a peace officer.
This is America. I told you, Conspiracy Wednesday. This is America. We didn't fake this video.
So she's become the priority here over what looked like might have been a drug bust.
300,000 views on YouTube.
Wow.
Should be 3 million.
Where was their training? Where was this at?
No, I would not even hesitate to say that they were trained to go out and have an effort of anyone capturing video of them doing their job.
This is not the only video. You can find
socialist. That's socialist.
Do we have any witnesses here? I just want to get this on tape. Any witnesses?
I called 911 and I explained to them she was rational. All she did was she wanted to record that things were, a citizen was being.
Where's the Obama administration?
You guys are neighbors,
they said I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that you're standing behind me, and which is weird because you're not behind me anymore. You're talking to me face to face.
Right.
So she backs. I was like, I'm sorry, sir. I'm gonna get on my property. She got on her property.
She said you're on the sidewalk, which is legal. It's legal to be on the sidewalk, but she's still.
But you know what? You know what? No,
they let the gentleman go that they originally.
Did he lose his job? Is he fired for this? No.
No.
Nothing.
He's working towards his
And
pension.
they handcuffed him for no reason. They handcuffed him, put him in the car, and they let him off.
They didn't like the fact that she knew that.
Right.
And you know what? I called 911.
And you know what? I was sitting down the street.
Okay, you guys, what do you think?
Oh man.
What do you think?
Well,
I don't like dirty cops.
Yeah.
I don't like that's over copping.
the
the reality of him thinking that it's his jurisdiction to take that type of authority and he's going to clear the area. He's going to play God in the situation. It's like that training and that the department needs to get their head out of their kulu because we don't live in that era anymore.
Well, that's the kind of stuff. It makes you mad, doesn't it? It makes you angry.
The reality is the people aren't going to put up for it. They're really not. There's going to be a point in time of which the people are going to say, we've had enough of this.
Well, here's an article from Time. Here's an interesting, because they're starting to talk about it. Here's an article I'm just going to flash. You can go find it yourself. From Time Ideas, Time Magazine. An article by Adam Cohen. And he talks about the new First Amendment right, videotaping the police. Wow. And the courts are coming out because the police have obviously, see what happens, the police don't do this.
Right.
Unless somebody above them says it's okay.
Thank you.
Go on and go
That's
do
what I was
this.
saying.
So I think you go find those assholes and nail them to the wall.
Yeah, it's coming.
Okay, you nail those
coming.
fucks to the wall.
And
okay.
They'll know who they are. Because the reality of that is it's okay to have our surveillance cameras in the banks and these institutions where the cops use them. But now you have people in the general public using them on the cops.
Well,
and it's like the issue is be legitimate in your work and your line of duty, and then there is no problem.
Well, that's right. Now, let me tell you. People are gathering in Chicago, express their views about the NATO summit. That's the reason for this article. And he points out that recording the police used to be illegal in Illinois, but a federal appeals court has ruled that a state wiretap law prohibiting it conflicts with the First Amendment. Remember, you have to go to the courts to even fight for what's obvious.
That's right.
You have to go to the courts. But police across the country have insisted that it's not your right and have been arresting video makers. Okay? Now, and you just recently had two big news, the ruling in Chicago I just mentioned, and another statement that came out of the U.S. Department of Justice in a Baltimore case. But just the fact that you have to go through this
I know.
in America. See, remember I told you have to constantly be vigilant to protect your rights.
Right.
Yeah.
And when 911 happened, in an effort to increase their security, quote unquote, so many Americans were willing to write a blank check. And they give away all their rights to people who you cannot trust. And this is what happens.
All day.
I know you guys would not have believed me without seeing that. Words just don't do enough until you see that.
No, because it sparks the emotional, and it's like, what if that's your aunt or your relative that get taken away on the porch, and she wasn't doing anything wrong, and the reality that she's made out to be the worst person in the situation is she's detained. It's like this guy's clearly he doesn't know what he's doing. He's got a uniform and a badge on, and he looks like he's official and he's doing his duty, but he's an imbecile.
He's an imbecile.
So the initiatives, because I mean, everybody has their own state governance, we know that. So this is an initiative that they're trying to take foothold on, and you don't think they calculated the pushbacks on this already?
Oh yeah, they did.
They've already done this, so you guys have to understand that they are already saying there's a certain amount of tolerance that's going to happen here.
Yeah,
and somewhere along the way, I believe they're waiting for this scenario. They're waiting for the blow-up scenario of somebody who goes above the law in something like this. In other words, somebody's going to cross the line, and they'll use that as the example to push forward, because they know everybody's not going to always be self-contained. So to me, I think it's the part where they say all we have to do is set a precedent out there. And so far, we still wait for the suits, and the money's going to be behind it. So this is going to be interesting to see, because I wonder if they are going back to read some of those Machiavellian tactics.
There you go. Take a look at it. I'm finding articles everywhere. Here's another one, you guys. You have a right to record the police. People are actually having, all over America, police have been arresting people for taking video or making sound recordings of them, even though such arrests are pretty clearly illegal. Remember, you can do illegal. It's just like suing people.
Right.
As long as you got enough money, you can sue anybody. Right. Even though you know you're going to lose, you tell them, I'm just going to spend money and mess with you.
Right.
And make your life miserable.
That's it.
See, so this is what people do, and this is another example. So I want you guys to know this, because this was the first of our conspiracy issues, and to be aware, take a look around. It's an ongoing issue. We told you, you've had some recent court rulings that are upholding this. Okay, I mean, that are going against this. Excuse me, going against this. But you actually have to have the rulings. The rulings have jurisdiction.
Right.
So until you get a major ruling that covers the whole U.S., it'll be okay to do it here in L.A., and you won't be able to do it in Buffalo. But so in the places
LA,
where people
are going to want to know where your permit is.
Yeah, there you go.
They got money off you already before you did it.
That's right. That's right. So the bottom line is, wait a minute. I didn't even get this, Mario. You may have to refresh me. I'm sorry if I wasn't paying attention. Did they say what state or city that occurred in?
That last one? That was Rochester.
Rochester, New York?
Yeah.
That's
There's a bunch of Rochesters. That's why I don't want to. I don't want to say. It says it's from a. Yeah. Well, check it out. There's a YouTube site called Rochester Cop Watch. Here it is, right here.
Oh, I love it. They've earned their own.
Look,
they've
Rochester
earned their own reality channel. Earned it.
Yeah, so you can go take a look. Wow. Rochester, and I assume, I don't know. That's what people are asking. Is it Rochester, New York?
That's okay.
I think there's a Rochester, Pennsylvania too.
Yes,
there's a bunch of Rochesters.
The thing where I'm at is looking forward, because if we're going to cops being videoed, the one that comes to me that's the largest or most historic was the Rodney King incident.
Exactly.
Right.
So
which whatever would have happened without that camera, right?
Right.
That changed the whole world. It changed the culture of policing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're how many years removed from that?
Right. And every phone almost has a camera now,
and
right?
A good quality one at that.
That's true.
I was just over at Topanga Film Festival, and the issue was not the storylines of the movies. How are you going to video your movie?
That's right.
These young kids are shooting a whole movie on an iPhone.
That's right.
That's what there's being shot. These cops are being watched with iPhones.
Yeah.
And it's a $200 camera. Everybody's got one.
That's right.
Yep.
So the cops have to be under the understanding that it's the people's country, not theirs.
Yeah.
They're public servants. Serve and protect. And the serve and protect has gone to bully and beat up.
Well, I bring this up now because as you have these summits occurring, protests are planned.
Yeah,
and they're
coming.
gearing up for this. I hope I don't have to protest the first black president for lack of action, but I will protest you. Know that I will.
Yeah, this is
know
scary.
that I will.
This is scary.
Hope
right
I don't
now.
have to, but unless you start doing something, then I will protest you. Okay.
It's about philosophy and it's about rights. So the president is not above those as well.
Well, that gets to our next story, which is the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA. Most of you never heard of it.
Bloody scary.
NDA. Let me tell you something. Let me just read, and this is from Wikipedia. Remember, I give you common sources. What's so amazing is people don't feel like they really have to hide information. They really count on the average person being too stupid and too distracted.
Yep.
So the information's out there. Go to Wikipedia and read the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA, and it's for fiscal year 2012. It's really because it's a lot about funding. It was signed into law by the President Barack Obama, on December 31st, 2011. Now, the act authorizes $662 billion in funding. Remember, I'm the one who told you that we had spent $680-some billion in defense.
Right.
The nearest country, and you can search this too. Just Google military spending by country and find it out yourself. The nearest country to the U.S. was China, with $114 billion. We actually outspend the whole world combined. The whole world combined. And the bill that the president just signed was $662 billion. Leon Panetta screamed that we were decimating the military. When you went from that 680 something down to the 662, he has screamed that we're ruining the U.S. military. And meanwhile, the nearest competitor, I told you, was China with like $114 billion. So this was just signed. So for 2012 now, so you don't have health care, your streets ain't fixed, your money's in this. Okay, now let me tell you about it. The most controversial, now, the bill contains spending. It's all about spending for healthcare costs, counterterrorism, military modernization. It also the bill includes sanctions. We talked about sanctions. I reminded people the way sanctions work, and if you don't believe me, go look it up yourself. Sanctions work by making the people in the country so miserable that they get upset and rise up against the people. So look who you're torturing. You cut off food supplies, water, gasoline. So the poor common man's already getting his ass kicked. He gets so mad. So meanwhile, remember, when you put sanctions in, it never hurts the rich folks or the people who are actually in power.
Yeah.
They have money, food, shrimp, wine,
they're not in that
weed,
position.
drugs, whatever, porno. They're feeling good, okay?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the little man has nothing. And so your sanctions cut that out. So remember, when your president says he embraces sanctions, he's embracing hurting the little man. Because that's who you really hurt.
Yeah.
All sanctions hurt the little man.
This is unprecedented here.
Okay.
What? We're 230-year-old country, and none of this has ever been available before. That's flat out. That means no probable cause. A federal officer can walk up to you, not like what you're dressed like, and take you away. That's scary.
Let me tell you what it actually says.
That's scary.
Let me tell you, according to the law, because there are people who actually were fighting against this, the law says that person allows for U.S. citizens to be detained by the armed forces, but does not require to extend to them other rights. Okay? So basically, they are allowed to detain you indefinitely.
So as soon as
without charging you.
So as soon as they grab you, then their rules apply. You don't have rights anymore once their hands are on you.
Exactly. Now, let me just tell you what happened. You've had people who objected. Okay, let me just tell you some of the people who did object. Representative Adam Smith, Democrat from Washington, and a Republican, Justin Amash from Michigan, both had bills to limit this, okay, that were going to actually limit these rights, but they were overturned. The House voted to support this. So remember now, the House voted to support this, even though you've already had court rulings that said it was unconstitutional. You've already had court rulings, okay? And the court rulings were, they're listed right here too. This is what the judge wrote. United States District Judge Catherine Forrest shunned the NDAA's indefinite detention provision, saying it had a chilling impact on First Amendment rights. And I quote, any individual could run the risk of substantially supporting or directly supporting an associated force without even being aware that he or she was doing so, wrote Judge Forrest, who then cited complaints for American journalists who were concerned they'd be imprisoned without charge solely for speaking with alleged terrorists, which was allowed under the law. Okay?
That could be somebody with a last name that's a Middle Eastern last name.
Exactly. Now,
yeah, that's crazy.
Now, the attorneys who were fighting against this have approached the Obama administration, but the Obama administration has said is actually sort of not acting. They're sort of trying to stay out of it, and I'm quoting. We are suggesting that it may not be in their best interest because there's so many people from all sides of the political spectrum opposed. So they don't want to kind of get into it right now because it's a little too hot.
Of course they're not going to do it.
So that's what wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's timing.
Oh wow.
Timing. We're talking about a political season right now. It's a political season.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, look, I'm not saying
the president signed it on December 31st.
I know. See, that's why
the president signed this on the. Take a look.
The eve of New Year's.
I have a video. I have a video on it. Let's take a look. Remember, I'm the one. I'm saying, wow, you guys, because you don't think about it.
Right. Yeah, because 80% of countries
so
are
if you
getting
talk,
drunk that
right?
night.
If you're talking to some member, the military, gets to grab you and hold you.
That's where the
with no charge.
Comes. Yeah.
So it's somebody's opinion that you're guilty.
Wow.
Watch this. Here we go.
Opinions. We're now operating on opinions. The tide is sanctions.
This
the tide of ruining your life.
I'm trying to get to play.
Well, it's been some. We call that the urban buffer. And if you guys don't know what that means, just chat with us and we'll explain and break it down. We want to keep you on the same level here. The urban buffers is, we call it the megabyte crunch. Forgot those terms. It's not part of the new. It's not the megabyte crunch.
Part of the boo-boo.
Yeah, thank you. So, for the most part, it's coming. But no, I'm not to, this shows you, and I believe the political system is always to think of the what ifs and implement to control. And soft control, medium control, hard control. I think they always get a whiff of what they call the study of human behavior and other things like that. So when this is coming down like this, I don't think it's brand new. I think it's always there.
A huge victory
it's
for civil rights
yes,
advocates.
Always.
It's the issue that's rising up now.
Oh yeah, I definitely think so.
All right, I think I got it working.
Starting out this hour, we continue our coverage of the National Defense Authorization Act, better known as the NDAA. 2 days ago marked a huge victory for civil rights advocates. A federal judge sided with the lawsuit.
So the federal judge is trying to put this into play.
I don't know, we're getting a lot of jerky.
Starting out this hour, we continue our coverage of the National Defense Authorization Act, better known as the NDAA. 2 days ago marked a huge victory for civil rights advocates. A federal judge sided with the lawsuit filed by journalists and activists against the president, ruling that the provisions in the...
Yeah.
Oh, man, let me see if I shrink it down.
When's the last time you heard the president getting sued?
Let me shrink it down. Maybe that'll work a little bit better. Okay, I'll tell you what. Hold on. Let me see. Let's go to...
provision that allows the indefinite detention of U.S. citizens. Starting out this hour, we continue our coverage of the National Defense Authorization Act, better known as the NDAA. 2 days ago marked a huge victory for civil rights advocates. A federal judge sided with the lawsuit filed by journalists and activists against the president, ruling that the provisions in the controversial law were unconstitutional. Specifically, the provision that allows the indefinite detention of U.S. citizens without due process. So does this indefinite detention clause not apply for Americans anymore? Well, not so fast. In a vote this morning, Congress shot down the strike from the provision of the NDAA. In a vote of 182 to 238, Congress voted against the amendment proposed Representatives Adam Smith and Justin Amash that would have excluded American citizens from the NDAA. So what does this mean for U.S. citizens now? And will the lawsuit gain traction, or is the issue dead? Joining us now to discuss more is Carl Mayer, attorney for the Mayer Law Group.
Oh, yeah, we quoted him.
Little megabyte span.
Carl, things are happening so fast in this case. I was wondering if you can just give our audience a brief update of what is going on.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Ms. Martin. Thank you for having me on. I think the reason things are happening fast in this case is
because they don't want us to.
No, they're sneaking.
We're driving the agenda here. That Wednesday's ruling, really extraordinary.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, you may have to give it a little time to catch up with itself, or it's another
ruling by Judge Forrest.
Well, hold on. Let me see if I can get it. Let me get it at RT.com.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So at least in the meantime.
So the thing to me is what he's done here, Obama, is he's exercised an executive order. And a lot of people don't know what that is.
True.
And the reality of an executive order is the president doesn't go through the other two governing bodies. He makes the decision on behalf of what he feels is necessary. Now, what I understand is he's exercised the executive order more than any president in the history of the country. And that, that has more of a dictator type of an attitude of leadership. So it's like, a lot of people don't know, like what Mario said earlier, sanctions. The sanctions is a funny word, but it's
right. It sounds like something different than what it is, doesn't it?
And it sounds as official as hell.
Right. So you think about it. Think about it.
You better listen up. You're sanctioned. Right. So it's like, that's serious. It sounds serious. So it grabs your ear, but the issue of they're still not telling you in plain English.
No.
It's your right to have no rights.
Right.
I don't like how you look. So we're in an issue of profiling 20, 25 years now, where police officers are profiling how they make arrests. So they're going to profile how they're going to clean up the street. We don't like how that dude looks, that woman looks, that dude looks. And we're just going to go pick them out. It's like, that is flat out scary. You're not apples on a tree to be removed from your society.
Right.
You're, all of the whole. And it's like, I don't, the reality of when people really get that common sense understanding of it, who are they going to be mad? I don't want to be wearing a police uniform at that point in time. Because the issues is the people then realize not only is our society and our credit cards, our police have sold us out too.
Yeah.
They trust us no one. It goes to trusting no one.
It's such a broad stroke. It kind of reminds me when people sit back in, a few years ago, they used to say, it's going to be the poor, the rich, the middle class. It says, well, the middle class is going to be eliminated. And they were looking at it in different ways. And we're talking about a day where it's the have and the have-nots. The have and the have-nots also encompass decision, power, the distribution of organization, also that may or may not govern civil rights and liberties. And I say, well, those who are in power are really showing a pathway where what's the middle ground? There is none. You're almost in a position where you're forced to take a side.
Yeah.
And philosophically, you can't stay in the middle and just be neutral.
Yeah, the scary part is there is no neutral, because if you don't speak up, then you're considered a part of the other side. So it's like you have to be a voice.
Yeah.
And it is important.
That's why the average citizen has to stand up.
Yeah.
You need the average citizen, not waiting for other people.
Yeah. That's right.
It's like you're waiving your rights.
That's right.
You're waiving them.
Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start the video back, because periodically it buffers enough.
Right.
So I'm gonna start where we last were, okay?
Sounds good.
And let's go back to where we were. What happened? Oh, let me see what I'm doing.
We
now.
muted him?
Yeah, I must have muted him. Oh yeah, there it is. Vince, you
I'm a geek. I turned into a geek. I'm a computer geek.
Congress has done has changed that. So the status quo stays in place, meaning we won the injunction, the plaintiffs won. The government cannot detain U.S. citizens or even resident aliens. And so far, we have prevailed because of this litigation, while Congress sits around and twiddles their thumbs. No wonder only 12% of the American people have confidence in the Congress in poll after poll after poll, because they're not standing up for the civil liberties of the people.
Why do you think it is that Congress voted against this? I mean, it seems like it's pretty widespread that this is extremely controversial, and this judge sided with you guys in the lawsuit. What is the reason that you think Congress is putting a hold on it?
That's an excellent question, Ms. Martin. The government had an opportunity to present some witnesses in federal court in the trial that we had before Judge Forrest, and they declined. They didn't put in one witness. And I can't imagine why the Congress is doing this other than they are scoring cheap political points, they think, with their constituents because they want to be seen as tough on terror, when in fact what they're doing is undermining 200 years of American civil liberties law.
He's got that backwards.
That's why we brought this lawsuit. That's why we were victorious. And let me bring it home for you, for journalists. What the provisions of the NDAA that we defeated would have meant would be that if, say, Miss Martin had done a story that favorably commented on a Muslim charity affiliated with Al-Qaeda, you could have been deemed to be giving substantial support to Al-Qaeda.
They could take us away.
Under the NDAA, they could have put you in military detention without the benefit of a lawyer or a trial by your peers. They could have sent a black.
If I disappear, y'all know what happened, okay?
You from your home.
One day I'm not here.
Military detention. And that would have applied to
See,
you,
those words also,
other
detention, detain,
resident aliens in
sanction.
this
People
country,
don't know
even
what those
people in
mean.
other
Right, I mean,
states.
put your ass in
It's
jail.
probably the most anti-democratic
They don't feed you that well, I
assault on civil
understand.
liberties since the McCarthy era.
Well, here's where I'm
You're
at.
right.
Can you
I mean,
pause that real
it
quick?
does kind of fly in the face of the bedrock of this country.
You have the attorney guy, and you would think he'd know better because it's about money all the time, that he's referencing Congress isn't going to make a decision, or they're not going to show representation, or they're looking for a cheap way out. And I'm here to say that those corporations in the big business that have purchased the White House, that have been running the White House for a long time, it was time for a bonus check for Congress.
Yeah,
It's like, get your head out of your Google.
Right.
Come on, this is America. And it's like, the reality is the people in Washington are bought and paid for. Let's be real about it.
Yes.
You have to call them out
Yeah.
and call them what they are. So bought and paid for means is when they're not going to do something for the people, there's a payoff in it for them.
That's right.
Like when you hear stuff going down in health or whatever, if the insurance company ain't bitching about it, it's a good deal. Because they're ripping you off too. So it's like whatever is in favor of the people and those that have that intention running in office to get there, they're purchased. Everybody has a price.
Well, but now the question becomes is how much do you get to do that in public? Because, see, remember, the president signed the bill.
Right.
Now you've had rulings that the bill's unconstitutional. Certain rulings. It doesn't affect everything yet.
Yeah.
So now the same attorney was asked about whether or not the Obama administration would file an appeal against them.
Right.
And that's the part where everybody's waiting to see, because if the Obama administration files an appeal, then that means they're stepping forward even in a more direct way to protect that bill.
Right.
And people are daring them to do it, kind
Very interesting, because that being the case in the is because it's an election year.
It's
blockbuster.
Well, that's why.
It's like,
Remember, I told you about the president. That's why he gave you gay marriage. See, to me, he gives you everything that means nothing.
gas on the fire.
So doesn't really impact the money. He'll give you gay marriage and maybe after school basketball, but he'll keep your 7,000 drones over Afghanistan, and he'll sign this NDAA.
You got
See, that's where he's
That's
change.
hilarious.
Where he's changed is he'll make wonderful statements about what we should be doing over here, and he'll stand up after he finally had a wake-up call about gay marriage. No offense. That came after people have been pushing and lobbying his ass since he's been in office.
His difficulty really is, in my opinion, is
he does nothing.
The two dynamics of being an unknown and bringing his promises in his campaign versus then actually being there. Because this is not the same platform or pulpit he gets to speak from.
No.
He's in the, well, what have you done?
Right.
And he has the proverbial fessing up to do.
But he's going to get away without doing it, Vince, because right now, all he has to, the conspiracy has been the fact that the Republicans are launching such a lame campaign that doesn't even look like they have any chance of winning.
Well,
That doesn't that mean that the president gets to run and not even address anything? He doesn't even get to have to address the fact that all of his promises from before he didn't do. By the way, a bunch of my friends who support the president said, Mario, in the last term, he's going to do something different. So I tried to look that up. There's absolutely no precedent for any president ever changing in his last term. As far as I can see, it's never happened. Go read it. There's no president ever that anybody thinks did things different in his last term. On the other hand, they sure did pardon a bunch of their friends on the way out, like Bill Clinton and a bunch of other ones. They all do. So I'm just saying that. The Republicans and Democrats, that's what they do. But
Well,
they do not change.
That's executive order.
There you go.
See, people don't understand what that is because there are issues the president has power on, and then there's other issues he don't. And this executive order is one of them. But I agree with you. The issue is when the people decide that enough is enough. This kind of stuff here, this isn't fiction. This is real.
No.
And this is truth. And it's like this. The issue of the truth is what this society is begging for. It's like the reality of knowing that we're doing stuff in the world where like we got a remote control on Mars because we can be on Mars. It's like, no, you're seriously being repressed. You're not being given an opportunity at the American dream. You're not being given an opportunity at hearing what is really going on versus what's mixing the pot, make it go down.
That's right.
And it's like the idea of it's all about money, it's all about control, and it's these folks, like, what's scary to me is the one guy said, it doesn't matter who wins the election. Because Bush is an Obama, and then if it's Romney...
That's what I try to tell everybody.
And the guy's going, you know what? I think it comes down to the issue of who are we okay at watching or hearing the bad news from?
That's right.
So it was okay to hear it from the source of Bush. Okay, the next round, it's okay to hear the bad news from Obama because he's cool and we like him, and it's okay, he'll give it to us gently. And now, does Romney fit the slipper? Because it's like...
It kind of does. They're doing the same thing.
Yeah, and it's like
the
how
same
much
thing
has changed. And so, like, if you go and you did it in, like, Bush's era, it's like we're operating, if Obama wins, potentially 16 years of the same thing Bush was doing, printing more money and making a bailout.
That's why I told you. Remember, the president signed it.
Like,
$662 billion.
Years of that.
Yeah, $662 billion.
Oh,
no, is this
Vince? It's the same. So that's the point we were making.
Yeah, I don't think people have any idea how serious this is. You're hitting a fork in the road where it's probably close to pop time. Because the issue of if these people are going to be taken where their rights, you're not even allowed to use a video camera on your phone. Or even worse yet, I don't like how you look. You're getting detained. You're being arrested. We're going to make a fine so high your family can't get you out of where we're going to send you.
If you know where they are. They don't have to say where you are, right?
This is terrorism
You've been detained.
Of another sort.
That's right.
That's a big word. Terrorism is a big word. So the idea of you're feeling like the local authorities in your own country are like terrorists to your life and your rights, your America's over. It's done. It's gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from Vince Cortese, and that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the good news, the bad news, and the other shit. Conspiracy Wednesday version, NDAA, indefinite detention of American citizens, an attack on citizen journalists. We keep it relevant. We keep it real. This is Morning Coffee.
Go do your thing.
Yeah.